Hello and welcome to this Digital Camera Magazine video tutorial. In this tutorial we're going to take a very quick look at how to convert your colour images into black and white. We're not going to use any complex processes to do this, simply going to use two adjustment layers. One to desaturate the image of colour, the other one just to increase the impact by adjusting the midtones and setting a black point within the image. So to get started, go straight over to your layers palette, click onto the adjustment layer icon, scroll down to hue saturation and just left click with your mouse. This will bring up the hue saturation dialog window. Make sure that in the edit drop down menu you have master selected, and that'll affect all of the colour channels. And right at the bottom right of the screen, make sure that you've got your preview radio button ticked and the colorize radio button is unchecked. To desaturate the image, just go straight to the middle slider, which is saturation, click on the slider and then just move that all the way down to the far left, and you'll see in the text field window we have -100. If you know the exact figure that you need to type into any of these boxes at any point, you can just do that with your keyboard. Once you've done that, click OK, and we've now desaturated and taken out all of the colour within the image. If you want to go back and make any adjustments at a later point, just double click the thumbnail in the adjustment layer and that'll reopen the hue saturation dialog window, and then you can go back in and make changes again to the saturation for this particular image. Once we've done that, we have now a black and white image which looks absolutely fine. A couple of problems with it: it's a little bit flat and the grey tones really aren't giving it that much impact. Now, to improve the quality of this image, we're going to use levels to set a black point, and then we're going to just tweak the white point and adjust the midtones. Now, to do this we need to find an area of the image which is absolute black, and if we look at the hair we can see that's very dark, so what we're going to do is just to zoom in on that area. Now, to do this we can use Control plus, so hold down your Control key and use plus just to zoom in on the picture. If you're on an Apple Mac, just hold down Apple and you can use plus in exactly the same way. Once you've done that, move your cursor over the image, hold down your space bar and you'll see the cursor change into a hand, and then we can just left click on the image, keeping space bar held down, and we can just move around the image as we want. And what we want to do is just find an area of the image which looks very black. Once we've done that, go back over to your layers palette, click on the adjustment layers icon and click back on levels, and this will bring up the levels dialog window. If we have a quick look at the histogram here, all the information over on the left hand side is our black point and our shadows. Everything in the middle is our midtone, and everything over on the right hand side is our highlights and our white point. So if we take a look at this and just check out the information that we've got here, we can see there's quite a bit of information over in the darker area of the screen, but as soon as we get into our highlights and our white point, we've got a huge, well, the main bulk of the image's information, which we'd expect with a portrait such as this where there's a lot of skin tones. So first thing that we want to do is set that black point. So just click on the set black point pipette, go over to the image and just click on an area of the hair to set that black point. Once you've done that, you can just use Control minus to zoom out of the image just to check that you haven't gone overboard with that. And then we will just use our midtone slider just to improve the impact and the tonal range of the mid-tones there. Once we're happy with that adjustment, we can just click OK, and we now have our final black and white image. If we just take a quick look at the difference that the levels has made, if I just click the little eye next to that adjustment layer and then click it back on, and we can see that that's increased the impact of our black and white picture. Now before we print, we need to flatten those adjustment layers down. So if we click on the More button at the top of the Layers palette, go down to Flatten Image, and that'll flatten those adjustment layers onto the original image, and that will now be ready to save down and print.